A reading for the collective. Take what resonates and leave the rest. The Lovers, Eight of Cups, and Two of Pentacles showed up today for the collective. To me, when these three cards show up together, they're connected to something deeply emotional. To me, these cards speak less about losing something and more about finally becoming honest enough with yourself to recognize what your spirit can no longer carry. To me, the Lovers choose what is truly aligned. The Lovers can absolutely represent love, intimacy, partnership, and meaningful relationships. But at its core, this card is about choice and alignment. The collective may be standing at a crossroad where the question is no longer what do I want, but does what I'm choosing actually agree with whom I'm becoming? You may love someone and still recognize that the relationship needs to evolve. You may love a career and realize it no longer reflects your purpose. You may also love people deeply while finally realizing you can't abandon yourself to remain connected to them. The Lovers ask you to make decisions from your values rather than fear, loneliness, obligation, or temporary comfort. The Lover's card can symbolize reunion of opposition with yourself. The masculine and feminine, intuition and reason, spirit and body, giving and receiving. Before seeking union outside yourself, there may be an invitation for you to seek union within yourself. Love that requires you to betray your own truth eventually becomes exhaustion. True alignment does not ask you to disappear. The Eight of Cups is saying have the courage to leave what your soul has already outgrown. I truly love this because this is the emotional heartbeat of the collective reading. The figure on this card has cups standing before them. They are not necessarily empty. Something existed there. Something mattered there. And yet the person walks away. That distraction is powerful. Sometimes we don't leave because something was meaningless. Sometimes we leave precisely because we learned everything it came to teach us. This may show up as distracting yourself from an unhealthy dynamic, changing directions professionally, abandoning an old habit, releasing expectations, setting boundaries, simply admitting this isn't fulfilling me any longer. The Eight of Cups doesn't necessarily mean cutting everybody off or dramatically ending something today. Sometimes it means emotionally withdrawing your investment from something you've been trying to force. This card invites you to stop pouring endless energy into situations that continuously return you to emptiness. This card is the walk towards deeper truth. There are moments on a spiritual path when what felt once like home begins to feel too small, not because it was small or wrong, but because you've grown, and growth can be heartbreaking. Sometimes awakening doesn't feel like fireworks. Sometimes awakening sounds like, I cannot keep pretending this is enough for me. If you find yourself grieving what you left behind, honor that grief. Walking forward does not erase the love, lessons, or memories attached to what came before. You can absolutely love something and still release it. The Two of Pentacles. This card is saying learn how to carry the new version of your life. This card speaks directly to money, responsibilities, schedules, family obligations, work, health routines, priorities, and everyday life. The collective may be juggling a lot. You might be asking, how do I pursue my purpose and still pay these bills? How do I heal and still show up for everybody? How do I build something new while maintaining what already exists? The Two of Pentacles says you don't have to master the entire transition immediately. Find your rhythm, prioritize, simplify, move things around, say no when necessary. Handle what is actually in front of you. Balance is rarely a perfectly still scale. Real balance is constantly making small adjustments without losing yourself in the movement. Notice the infinity symbol surrounding the pentacles. To me, this is a beautiful representation of the continuing exchange between the physical and spiritual realms. Spirituality isn't just the terror, meditation, prayer, ritual, or mystical experiences. Sometimes spirituality looks like paying the bills, cleaning your space, resting your body, keeping your word, setting the boundaries, making the appointments, saving the money, and doing the most practical thing your life requires. The sacred and ordinary were never separate. The message of all three cards together symbolize the lovers say, choose what aligns with your truth. The Eight of Cups says, have the courage to leave behind what no longer honors that truth. And the Two of Pentacles says, recognize your physical life around the person you are becoming. Somebody in the collective may need to hear this deeply. You do not have to hate your past in order to outgrow it. You do not have to turn something into a villain before you are allowed to choose yourself. You don't need anger to justify your departure. You don't need everybody to understand your evolution before you begin living it. Some doors simply close because your spirit has learned what it has came there to be taught. Now the question becomes, will you keep choosing what is familiar because it's comfortable? Or will you choose what is aligned because it's true? The next chapter may require some juggling. Your finances, emotions, responsibilities, and relationships may need some recalibration. Give yourself room to learn the rhythm. You aren't required to know exactly what the entire journey looks like before you start taking the next aligned step. Affirmation for the collective. I choose what honors my truth. I release what my spirit has outgrown without resentment. I honor everything that taught me, loved me, challenged me, and reflected me. And I trust myself enough to recognize when a chapter has served its divine purpose: peace, love, light, and truth.